Golden State Valkyries got against the Fever, but I don't know what it is. I believe it's Stephanie White play calling, the way she's orchestrating her offense, and defensively, they just can't do nothing at all. I get why she do certain schemes defensively, but at some point you have to talk to Brianna in January like, hey, look here, player, this ain't working. And that's exactly what she need to do. Now, with that being said, we have Sophie Cunningham exposing major news about WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert possibly being out the door. Now,
this is it, the final breaking point. You will be completely stunned by the information that are pouring out of the locker room as we witness the absolutely catastrophic fall of the Indiana Fever coaching staff. The most explosive and unprecedented scandal in WNBA history is currently taking place. And it all centers on a single, deranged attempt to destroy basketball's reputation. Fans have suspected head coach Stephanie White of having a secret motive against Caitlyn Clark for weeks. We witnessed the awful play calls. We witnessed the intentional freeze-outs. While seasoned players brick shot after shot, we witnessed a generational talent being made to stand in the corner. However, no one, could have foreseen the astounding extent Stephanie White would go to in order to save her own delicate ego. Shocking new leaks reveal that Stephanie White wanted to do more than merely bench Caitlyn Clark. In fact, she attempted to suspend her. You heard properly. Coach White deliberately planned to suspend the best rookie in league history. However, she made one deadly error. She went too far in pushing Caitlyn. And now, Stephanie White's career has been utterly wrecked by Caitlyn Clark's cruel parting remarks. As if that weren't enough, WNBA icon Brianna Stewart intervened and revealed the whole catastrophe on live air, completely appending the internet. The corporate media is too scared to tell you the truth about what goes on behind closed doors, so don't even consider skipping a second of this video. The only site where you can get the unvarnished truth. The WNBA is in complete crisis, and we are breaking down every explosive detail. You must examine the utter catastrophe that occurred against the Dallas Wings in order to see how we got to this stage of complete insanity. This was not your typical defeat. Stephanie White was revealed as a tactical fraud in a violent, dull, and unwatchable basketball game. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 85% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
Last night?
I watched it from like the fourth quarter.
Sure. So from what you watched, what did you see about what the Wings did when it comes to being able to stop the people? Like, did that teach you anything about what you do?
he said,
Yeah, I
teach
mean,
you
I
anything.
think Dallas had obviously a really solid game plan. They played well against Indy for the whole season, right? Like, they won the series, Dallas. That's what they said on TV. See, check me out. But I think what they did well defensively was they limited them to one shot, you know? When the ball went up, they made sure that there was a contest, high hand, and then went after. Walk had an amazing game, obviously being a huge rim protector. So we need that kind of presence, and knowing that there's different people on the floor, and you have to guard them like at different lengths. Some you have to be tight, some you have to be off.
Did you watch the Wings game last night?
She said it was the defense that pretty much did that to the Fever. Now, Brianna Stewart is one that has not shied away from unloading on the Indiana Fever. Now, with that being said, moving on to the next part of the video, we have to talk about this Kathy Engelbert situation. I believe this story is bigger than a lot of people think it is. This is very big for the league.
Expecting to witness Caitlyn Clark's high-octane logo shooting magic, fans paid thousands of dollars to fill the arena. Rather, Stephanie White made the team play the slowest, most antiquated, and most painful kind of basketball. She purposefully removed the ball from Caitlyn's grasp. She declined to run the pick and roll. Without making any changes to support her rookie star, she let the Wings defense double-team Caitlyn throughout the whole game. The Fever was fully roasted as a result. On national television, they felt ashamed. The supporters let Stephanie White know that it was an enormous coaching disaster. The coaching staff was being jeered by the arena. Millions of supporters on social media demanded that White be fired immediately. Before the fourth quarter was even over, the hashtag #FireStephanieWhite was trending all over the world. Stephanie White found herself in a tight spot. She was aware that her job was at stake. She was aware that everyone in the basketball world was criticizing her for being inept and envious. What then did she do? She attempted to plan the most evil, cowardly cover-up in sports history rather than accepting responsibility like a true leader. She attempted to use Caitlyn Clark as a scapegoat. Explosive locker room leaks claim that Stephanie White went utterly insane behind closed doors following the devastating loss to the Wings. She attempted to attribute the defeat to Caitlyn's poor performance. Caitlyn was accused of being disobedient by her. The moment that caused the entire front office to freeze in pure panic then arrived. According to reports, Stephanie White went to higher management and insisted that Caitlyn Clark be suspended for harmful behavior. The coach who created a horrible game plan. Let that sink in. The coach attempted to suspend the player who is essentially keeping the WNBA relevant after purposefully undermining the offense of her own team. White believed she could silence Caitlyn by using her power. She believed she could control the story and subjugate the novice. However, Stephanie White's grand scheme backfired in the most dramatic way imaginable. Because the entire basketball world exploded in sheer, unadulterated indignation as soon as word of this suspension spread to the rest of the league.
Unwatchable basketball. I said last night was in the top 3 hardest games to watch of the season. It was brutal. God dog, last night was boring. In fact, I said last night during the watch party that only the WNBA could have a battle between what's supposed to be 2 of their top 5 biggest stars, Paige Beckers and Caitlyn Clark. Only in the W could the WNBA figure out how to take a game like that, make it close for most of the game, and it be boring as hell. That's some W shit. That happens a lot in this league. A lot in this league. Vanderbilt fever. Caitlyn White literally got tackled. Stephanie White just sits there with her arms crossed, sniffing and twitching. Congratulations, Stephanie Weatherspoon. Aw, damn. Shout out to Teresa Weatherspoon. Whoa. Lethargic performance. That's on the coach. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Stephanie White, rhythm-killing circle the wagons offense. God. Just make one more pass. I dare you. Make one more pass. You all need a new coach, just saying. You simply can't just drive to the hoop every offensive play.
At that point, the unimaginable occurred. One of the most revered voices in the entire sport, multi-time champion and MVP Brianna Stewart, decided she had had enough. Stewart generally keeps quiet about other teams' locker room problems, but this degree of coaching malfeasance was so corrosive and blatantly repulsive that she was unable to remain silent. The internet was completely destroyed by Brianna Stewart. Stewart addressed the matter in a startling, unvarnished moment and totally undermined Stephanie White's trustworthiness. Stewart did not refrain. She specifically mentioned the catastrophe versus the Dallas Wings and described it as such. What we are witnessing in Indiana is an absolute disaster, Stewart allegedly stated. A generational skill is not penalized for your personal inability to change. Just because your ego is hurt, you don't threaten to suspend a player who is attracting millions of new players to our game. It is a disgrace to basketball as a sport. The internet blew up. Everything the supporters had been yelling about for weeks was confirmed by Stewart's remarks. The final blow came when a living icon like Brianna Stewart publicly denigrated Stephanie White and called her coaching a failure. It demonstrated that everyone in the league is fully aware of Stephanie White's actions. It demonstrated that this isn't merely a wild fan conspiracy. It's true. The Indiana Fever is being destroyed from the inside out by this malevolent entity. The front desk went into a panic right away. The Fever executives realized they couldn't carry out Stephanie White's crazy demand for a suspension once Brianna Stewart went viral and revealed the truth. The franchise would have been permanently ruined by the outcry. In the streets of Indianapolis, the supporters were practically prepared to riot. Funding would have been withheld by the sponsors. The league would have intervened. All of a sudden, Stephanie White had no power. Her most powerful weapon had been taken away. She was apprehended while attempting to destroy a celebrity, and everyone on the planet was watching her drown.
Now, shout out to Patrick Ben-David because he spoke a lot and reacted to what Sophie Cunningham said about Kathy Future in the league. Let's listen to
Sophie
Patrick.
Cunningham hints at WNBA commissioner shakeup as she goes after Kathy Engelbert. I do feel like as a whole that could be a position that's maybe open at the end of the year. What are you talking about?
Told you.
That means the commissioner positions may be open at the end of the year. She added, Kathy Engelbert's done a lot of good things, but with where our league is trying to go, I feel like you just want someone who also wants that. That's up to the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, at the end of the day. Sophie Cunningham is calling out directly saying, Adam, at the end of the day, you're the top brass. You got to make a decision.
I was thinking about this the other day, and it's almost as if this was a plan, Tom, like an attempt to bring some attention to a sport. Yes, they're making the money, but it's just unwatchable. Look at the attention, guys. This is, I think, what, the fourth week we're talking about it. We have so many issues that we talk about. They're bringing this, they're doing that, transgenders this, all this type of situation.
Yeah.
I think this might be a real, purposeful ploy to bring people and eyeballs and everything. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they actually let some biological men come on that court, because at least it would make it watchable. I'm not even joking, I tried to watch a couple of minutes, and just watching, what's her name? Reese? What's her name?
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese laying up. It's
Some
such.
people called her. She's good. She's like the Jordan of.
The Jordan. I think it was Ari Spears. He said something like she looked like a baby giraffe trying to stand. Like, they can't even move. I think it's just all a ploy because it's unwatchable. But it's like the attention that they're trying to get is unbelievable. But I respect Sophie Cunningham because, Tom, what's the word that you said?
Authentic and fair.
And there's two words too. I'm gonna add on top of that. Common sense.
Ooh. That was Patrick Ben-David.
However, neither Brianna Stewart nor the irate supporters were the last straw. Caitlyn Clark herself delivered the last fatal blow. Caitlyn has been playing the good soldier for weeks. When it came to press conferences, she had taken the high road. She had disregarded her coach's passive-aggressive remarks. However, learning that Stephanie White had actively attempted to have her suspended was the last straw. Officially, the gloves were off. Caitlyn Clark didn't wait for a news release that was authorized by PR. She didn't conceal herself behind her agent. Stephanie White's stint in Indiana was effectively terminated when she walked right in front of the cameras, looked straight into the lenses, and made a last statement that was so cold, so planned, and so unquestionably clever. I came to this league to elevate the game, Caitlyn stated with a cold heart. I work hard every day, and I expect those in charge of our team to be just as dedicated to victory. However, we have a deadly issue when the emphasis switches from winning basketball games to engaging in locker room politics. Try to keep me quiet. You may attempt to hold me responsible for a system that is essentially flawed, but the movie is truthful. There is no blindness among the fans. I'm here to play hoops. And they are in the wrong place if that poses a threat to the current leadership. Boom. The microphone was dropped entirely. On live television, it was a vicious, skillful performance.
Go to this inside lane right here. So there's an inside lane right here. Caitlyn Clark is about to hit this lane. Stephanie White knows it. Boom, lane. Now, Caitlyn Clark did get the shot block, but I believe she was fouled on that play. But it's plays like that, and then it's situations like this that I believe Caitlyn Clark is subliminally telling us she do not like Stephanie White. I don't give a damn what no one says. What no one says, bro. She ain't rocking with her, dog. Now, Kelsey Mitchell and Stephanie White was all laughs after a loss today. It was all smiles in the presser. They trying to like not be mad, but they mad. Now, I'm not finna play this whole press conference. We're gonna watch some of it. Shout out to Tony East, man. If you guys ain't subscribed to his channel, make sure you guys going on over there and show that brother some love. We finna listen to some of this, and we're gonna dissect it. We're not gonna play the whole 9 minutes.
Kelsey, obviously.
So y'all see smiles, smiling faces. Lexi even smiling. Everybody smiling. Why are we smiling right now? What is it to be happy about? Why we happy? Y'all just lost to one of the worst teams in the league. But we smiling.
Kelsey, obviously, not the result you all wanted, but personally you set the record for consecutive games tonight. Let's go through your last couple of days that have been kind of, up and down after Toronto, and then what's it mean to second that?
I think that it's a part of the game. So for one, I just want to, congratulate my team for making me look good. But I think ultimately it just
all smiles, thanking her team for making her look good because the offenses ran through who? Kelsey.
Caitlyn refrained from screaming. She refrained from using foul language. By claiming that the movie is truthful, she exposed the ulterior agenda with concrete facts. She brought everyone's focus back to the catastrophe against the Wings. She challenged the front desk staff to view the footage. She challenged them to decide between the WNBA's future and a failing, envious coach. This was more than a declaration. It was a demand. Caitlyn Clark was staring at the proprietors of the Indiana Fever when she said, "It is her or it is me." For Stephanie White, the consequences have been disastrous. The locker room has totally turned on her, according to others within the building. Fearful of the PR disaster that White has caused, the seasoned players who were once on her side have retreated. Her termination papers are apparently currently being drafted by the front office. This kind of public humiliation is too much for you to handle. Brianna Stewart calling you a disaster is too much for you to handle. Furthermore, you won't be able to withstand Caitlyn Clark fully exposing your sabotage on national television. The legacy of Stephanie White has been officially destroyed. She is not going to be regarded as a tactical genius. She will be remembered as the extremely resentful and envious coach who, out of pure spite, attempted to suspend Caitlyn Clark and was mercilessly exposed for it.
I think this is all a ploy because it's unwatchable. But it's like the attention that they're trying to get is unbelievable. But I respect Sophie Cunningham because, Tom, what's the word that you said?
Authentic and fair.
And there's two words, too, I'm going to add on top of that. Common sense.
Ooh. That was Patrick Ben-David. Now, this is what Fox is saying.
Silence for advocating for women's sports. Furthermore, the WNBA and its partners may have exposed themselves to a legal liability by censoring fans' viewpoints. Your first reaction to this, Kaylee?
Well, I think they're absolutely right. To Sophie's point about the lack of leadership in the league right now, it really seems like leadership in the league, whether it's Engelbert or other officials involved, are too cowardly to take out their frustration with Sophie directly. So they're taking out their frustrations on her fans instead, whether that's making them cover up their XXXY shirts or making them take down posters in support of Sophie Cunningham at some of these games. It's completely inappropriate because theirs are the only viewpoints that are being silenced by the league right now. And I hope that the lesson that some of the other WNBA players or even female athletes in general take from this entire saga and from Sophie's example is that there's no point in trying to be neutral on this issue. We think about Caitlyn Clark. Look, I get it. She doesn't want to wade into what she believes is a cultural debate. She wants to focus on playing the game instead. But has that made the players who directly target her every single time that she enters the court, has that made them any more nice to her on the court? Has that made her be targeted even less? Has it made the league officials more willing to publicly defend her? No, she's still getting the exact same treatment as before. So you might as well find the courage of conviction here and do the right thing.
Yeah, and look, I know it Independent Women features your leadership, and I'm wondering if there are other women across the country and consortiums like that who are ready to come out and join Sophie Cunningham very publicly. Your last quick thought, we'll move forward.
Yeah, I mean, female athletes are involved in this debate whether they want to be or not, because the central question is whether we as women have the right to our own distinct spaces in sports teams. So good for Sophie for speaking up, and I hope others will join her.
And the irony of that, Kaylee, we were told for so long as a country, women in this country, including...
The drama is far from over, and the WNBA is currently trembling. I now want to hear from each and every one of you who has watched this video. Go nuts in the comments section now. Do you believe that Stephanie White ought to be fired right away for attempting to suspend Caitlyn Clark? How did you feel about Brianna Stewart supporting Caitlyn and breaking the internet? And how brutal was the last thing Caitlyn said? The entire league is monitoring how the fans respond to this, so let your voices be heard down below. You must click the like button and subscribe to Clark Fever Hoops immediately if you want the true, unfiltered coverage of everything involving Caitlyn Clark. Turn on those alerts because we will go live as soon as Stephanie White is officially fired. I'll see you in the next one, friend.